get a piece for you. Just don't tell anyone that it's that cheap. And then tell me how many you want, and I'll be where
I don't care about that, not a fig.
In Walmart. Murder.
What is up, my little roaches? Welcome one, welcome all to another episode of The Josh Potter Show. I'm so happy that you can join me, and if you've been joining me out on the road, I appreciate that almost even more, I might add. And I'm going to be on the road this week during the AFC Championship game. Do you see what I'm doing with sacrifices I'm making in order to perform for you? I'll be at West Nyack Levity Live on January 30th. Then on the 2nd of February, I'll be at Pittsburgh Improv. On the 3rd of February, it'll be the Raleigh Improv. And then, boom, February 11th, Irvine Improv. More are going to be announced very soon at Josh_Potter on Instagram, at J_Potter on the old Twitter. That's where you can buy tickets. And also, the Patreon is live. I can happily say it. I didn't delay it any longer, despite my health issues. Like I did last week, it was delayed 1 week. I wish I could have got it out there last week, but I couldn't. But it is out there now. It's got content on it as I speak to you right now on this Tuesday. And go get on it, my friend. $5. It gets you a whole new podcast. Potter and Bergman, my buddy Matt Bergman, who I've known my whole life. He got me started in comedy. He's a road dog. He knows old stories about me. We're going to be doing a podcast a week. Also, Roach transmissions, random pop-up podcasts that'll happen. Say the AFC Championship game's going on. I'll do a podcast right after that, right after I get off stage. Boom, it'll be right up on the Patreon. So those will happen throughout. You'll get instant reactions from events, things like that. And also, when I'm on the road, sometimes I run into people that I know and I want to have on the show. I can't do a podcast right in that moment. Now I can with the Roach transmissions. So those, the Potter and Bergman show, the Roach transmissions and live streams and more, all those things for just $5 on the Patreon, the link in the description of the episode. But now here in the Roach Motel, I want to welcome my very special guest. He's got a Netflix special out there and he's got lots of fun to tell you about. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Brian Simpson.
Hello.
Welcome, my friend. How are you? So
great,
happy to have you here in the Roach Motel. Thanks for hanging out and sticking around.
Yeah, man. We like ships in the night, man.
We always passing each other by.
I just left West Nyack Levity Live.
I saw that you were there, and that's why I wanted to ask you about that club, and because it's my first time going. And you did all the New York stuff. I'm doing all the same, like Barstool and all that kind of stuff. How was your trip out there?
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah. What was your favorite? Have you gone to New York very often?
No, just twice.
Yeah, because I was going to say there's a lot of LA comics who start out here. They get their rise up out here, and I feel like they don't go to the New York side as often as people from New York come here, you know?
Oh yeah. But you know what's weird is like I feel like we enjoy it over there more than they enjoy it here.
Yeah, they come over here with all their like nose up in the air.
Yeah,
it's very odd. They're like, ugh, LA, and then we go over there. We're like, New York's fun too.
New York's dope. Yeah, New York's dope. LA's dope. Yeah, I don't get
exactly. I don't get the hate. I don't get any of that. But tell everyone where you're going to be coming up.
So I'm going to be at the Irvine Improv on February 9th and the Ontario Improv on the 10th.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to be in Madison, Wisconsin, the 24th through the 26th. These are all February. And then Bakersfield, March 5th at the... that's it, Bakersfield. It's just, if you go to my... and Philly Punchline, April 8th, 9th, and 10th. So if you go to any of my social medias, BS Comedian on Instagram and Twitter... and then go to my daggone link tree. All the ticket links are in there. Or you go to BrianSimpsonComedy.com. All the ticket links are there as well.
Why even have a website anymore, right?
Man, it's one of those things where it's becoming unnecessary.
Yes.
But it's not quite all the way unnecessary. Because, I meet a lot of fans now where they don't have social media.
Interesting. So they don't get to the link tree.
Right. There's some people where you're like, follow me on Instagram. And they're like, I don't do that.
That's true, too. And I wonder how people even know who I am sometimes when they don't follow. Like, I take pictures after shows, like with maybe dozens of people or whatever, and I get tagged in like 2. I'm like, where are these people posting these? They just have them for themselves. And so,
there's a lot of people that don't do socials anymore.
Yeah,
man.
It's so strange. You're right. That's a good point. So you're right. It is. You need a central location, and Linktree doesn't give you a URL, although they might now. I don't know, but Did you get unplugged? We can plug you back in real quick. Yeah, I can do it without even looking. Watch this. Yada-dee. That's a blind trick, is you can feel your way around. I have the hole right here. Find it, Josh. You're really looking like a fool after you just talked a big game. Come on, boy.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. All right. All right.
He found the hole.
Found the hole. I have to often have that dilemma. I like when the girl just puts it in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, help
I know
me
it's
out
in the
here.
nice boy clock, but we can just admit what we're talking about. I like when they guide you.
Yeah, I do
Some
too.
of them, it takes them out of it, though.
Well, okay. It depends on the attitude. If they guide me like begrudgingly,
Yeah, I don't like that.
if it's that, I don't want that.
That's my point. I don't understand why they get upset, because they think like you're fumbling with your dick, and all of a sudden now you don't have daddy energy or whatever. And so you're fumbling around, so they just like, ugh, and they put it in themselves. I like when a girl just initially takes charge and doesn't even like give me the opportunity to fumble. She just puts it
She's
in.
like, I want this.
Yes,
Right.
that I prefer that energy
I'll take
as
that.
opposed to being like, ugh, fine, I'll do it. You know?
Yeah. Because you know what it is, though? You know what? The truth is, a lot, how do I put it? There are way more women that are bad at sex than they'll admit, or that are
Yes.
insecure about it, but because they don't have to take any of the insecurity onto themselves. You know
No,
what I mean?
because a guy is always pursuing them to have sex,
Yeah.
regardless of their skill.
And no guy's gonna say your pussy sucks,
Right.
even after like you break up. No dude's like, well, your pussy's trash.
I mean, how many boring lays have you just gone back to? You're like, maybe it was just an off night, give him another shot.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I've gone back to the well plenty of time.
Yeah,
I'll admit it,
there's something to be said about reliability.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
that, but there's also like, I like going like, well, maybe that was just a misfire. I'll give him another shot.
Yeah.
At like seeing, maybe now it's a different story. I've had it the other way too. I've had like mind-blowing sex with a woman and then gone back to the well, and then it's just trash, and it's like, where was that girl?
Yeah, it's like, was it just the drugs we were on, or?
Yes, the circumstance, the
Right.
drugs. Was my penis better that day?
Yeah, who knows?
You start questioning yourself a little bit.
But there is something about it becoming routine.
Yes, I don't like that.
Like new. There's nothing better than new.
You're right. New is exciting because even if it's trash, you go, well, this is just a new adventure anyways. So it's like, I just wanted to see what was behind door number 3.
How often is it trash?
Trash is a harsh word. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Trash? Because
I mean, sometimes it is trash, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'll say this. Once in a blue moon, it's very rare, but sometimes you just go like, I don't even feel like a person was involved in that. They're just not even there. They're just laying there, it's that kind of thing. And then you do your thing, and they have their fun, but then they're just not as giving. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
trash to me.
I don't. Yeah, that's.
It's an attitude
That's
thing,
a wrap.
like you
I'm
said.
not going back to that well.
No, I don't go back to the trash well. That's for sure. There's definitely ones, but I have, ones where it's just like a little like, hey, I'd like to see what we can do if we try to get a little more comfortable the next go around, that kind of thing.
Speaking of which, what is this that we're looking at on the screen here?
Oh, we are going to get to that in the sports. We are looking at a dildo on the screen. The Buffalo Bills have a tradition with dildos that I'm going to explore in the sports section. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you, because you have a Netflix special out right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's like. Hopefully someday soon I can. But now, are you going out and about? Because the Netflix thing, this is the collective unwash watching you now.
Right.
Like you can get fandom from maybe a pocket of fans of a podcast, this type of thing. That's a little more deliberate. This is like, now are you ever at the store or something and they're like, I seen you on Netflix.
Yeah, it's happened a few times now. Since
Is that weird?
It's gonna take some getting used to.
Yeah, because I'm thinking I go out in public, sweatpants sometimes, like I'm not necessarily my best self.
Right.
When I'm standing at line at the 7-Eleven. If I were to get recognized in that moment, I don't know if I'd be like embarrassed, like I'm buying like a chimichanga and like a Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like I remember I bought gas with quarters one time and the guy recognized me and I was like, yeah, here's like $8 in quarters for the gas. You know what I'm saying? It's embarrassing.
That hasn't happened yet. Actually, the biggest change that I've noticed is the cheer is different when my name is called.
The Pop, yes. I know that guy, Pop.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, it's a different. And it's weird how you can hear it. Like it's not.
You
like
could tell the difference.
Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference.
For sure. There was a time when I started doing Your Mom's House where I could see that switch happen when I would open up for Tom. Like opening up for Tom before I was on Your Mom's House, it would be like, all right, the guy, they'd clap or whatever. But then when they started knowing who I was, that was like a different sound altogether. It was wild. So I get that
like,
totally.
When's Tom coming? Oh, but that's you.
Yeah. Like, oh, I know that guy too.
Right, yeah.
It was awesome. But I will not hesitate to get into the sports because now we've passed through the nice boy clock and we can talk about dildos willy-nilly, my friend.
What's the nice boy clock?
The nice boy clock is the first 10 minutes of the show. I try to keep it a little more tame because of the fact that the YouTube police like to come along and they go, this isn't suitable for a child. I've never said it was, for the record, but they go along and they say, you said cunt or you said
in the first 10
gun
minutes.
Or whatever. Yeah, and they tend to, after the first 10 minutes, not care. So they monitor the first, so we keep a nice boy clock going just to keep me in check because there were some times where I had almost ruined my entire YouTube channel. So we had to make a nice boy clock just for that situation. But let's get into the sports. Beep, 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 beep. Beep 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 beep. And you were saying you are a fan of the Washington football team. Do you have any sort of insight as to what they're going to change their name to?
Like they'll have like an inside track.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something military.
Like the word on the street. Yeah, because they got those stars. I saw like the glimpses they put up on the uniform.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like the Admirals.
They look clean, the things that they've shown so far. You know?
Right.
Yeah, because they got the stars, the Admirals. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, it's the safe bet. It goes with the city. It takes away from some of the people that would be up in arms about it.
Yes.
Because it's the military, so they kind of have
right,
to,
what can they do then?
Like, I just mean there's in a Venn diagram of the people that are like, it should have stayed Redskins. And,
right.
And the people that are like, well, it's the military.
Yeah, you're placating the same people.
That's almost a circle.
It's almost a circle, yeah. The people are like, how dare they take away the red? Okay, well, it's the troops, so it's troops. I guess I'll let it go.
So,
yeah.
I think that's the smart move. Now, on the other hand of that, Daniel Snyder doesn't make very many smart moves.
No. I'm surprised he's not naming them like the fucking Washington pussy grabbers or some shit.
Just
you know
anything or just change it back. That would be hilarious. Just like, it's Redskins.
I thought he was going to get so spiteful he'd make the logo a potato.
Really?
You know what I mean? Because of Redskin potatoes. That's I thought he was just going to be like, it's not even about a Native American. It's a potato.
Yeah, he's not above it.
Now suck my dick. That's what Dan Snyder, that's how he acts. But it's so funny that he didn't change it. I thought this was so odd. The copyright claim for the logo went away before the logo went away.
What do you mean?
Like the NFL banned their trademarking of the logo, so they couldn't make money on merchandise with that logo on it. But they still played like 2 more seasons with it. So then they started putting like Washington or whatever on.
Well, I think they could still make money, but they couldn't take money from other people that were using it.
Perhaps. Maybe that's it too. Yeah, maybe because then people can like own it themselves. I didn't understand the reason for Daniel Snyder going like, oh, you're going to do that? Well, I'm still going to dig my heels in. Like it made no sense. But now I guess if they could make money off of it, that makes more sense. But I wanted to bring up before we get into the dildos of my football team, what's going on with that stadium, FedEx Field? Did you see them your stadium almost killed Jalen Hurts?
I know. Would that have been...
That would have been a bad thing or a good thing?
That would have definitely been a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, and it's leaking sewage on people. People are just like up there having their popcorn and like
just fell through.
Sewage just falls from the ceiling.
I mean, and the field's awful too. People get hurt on it all the time.
All the time. People are blowing ACLs out.
I don't know why the NFL doesn't have regulations about
Someone should step in. I mean, I think Jalen Hurts wrote a letter to the league and was like, what's going on here with this stadium? I mean, he almost got Astroworlded up in that. Yeah. They all fell forward. We watched the video on the show. But man, that was, and everyone's like, "Whoa, is Jalen Hurts okay?" Meanwhile, there's like a guy,
children.
yeah. There's people on the ground like,
yeah, dude. No one can listen. Celebrity outranks children.
Oh, NFL quarterback even higher on that celebrity because they're physical.
Yeah,
like
it's true. Like remember when Kobe Bryant died?
Yes.
The news was like Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't tell you anyone else's name.
Nope.
And then when they found out it was one of his daughters, they was like Kobe Bryant and his daughter. And then you found out there were other children on the helicopter.
Yeah, those poor kids.
Who are those other? Name one of those other kids.
Can't.
You can't because they didn't say.
No, not. No. And there was like a guy and his two daughters. Like a sibling lost their entire family.
Right.
And it was their last name wasn't Bryant, so they didn't get any press about that shit. So, but hopefully they got a lot of money.
That's who we are, buddy. Who from who?
From whoever, the pilot or the airline or whatever.
But I feel like if you ride on a helicopter with Kobe Bryant, you probably already had money.
Sure, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a great point, actually. I mean, who knows? The guy could have been, I don't know what the guy, I feel bad that I know nothing about the other guy who perished other than he was like a coach with Kobe Bryant, but like, he probably was just like a dentist who lived in like Sherman Oaks or some shit. You know what I mean? Like he
also
wasn't
the pilot. That's another guy.
That's it. Yep, the pilot. It was kind of his fault, so people don't really like.
Was it?
Yeah, kind of.
I don't think so, man. Because look, I understand that he did the wrong thing.
Right.
But I'm sure it was one of those things.
It was also Kobe's fault, in my opinion. Sorry if that's ruffling any feathers. But he was probably like, fuck this fog. I'll pay the
that's what I'm saying. It's like you're working for a billionaire or millionaire, and they're like, get us there.
Yeah.
And you've broken the rules before and gotten away with it. And it's like, you're going to do it. You're going to do it because the chances of you dying are... You
don't think about that. Yeah, you're just like, fuck it. I mean, we'll fly down the highway or whatever. And he was. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I go, it's Kobe's fault for making him fly, but that guy, how did he suck so bad at being a pilot? I mean, he fucking really blew it. You know what I mean?
Because how do you say no? But do you know, I saw a thing the other day where they, Russia lost like half of its admirals.
Why?
It's for the same reason. Like
they sucked at flying?
No, there was back then, because of the way the economy was all fucked up, you had to go to certain places to buy certain stuff, and you had to be a certain, prestige to be able
certain
to
class. Yeah.
So when they all had a meeting in one of their big cities, maybe it was Moscow, and they all went shopping, and so it was all of these high-ranking people, and they all loaded up the plane with this shit, and the pilot was trying to tell them, hey, there's too much shit on the plane.
Oh, the weight.
Right. But what happened is so then the admiral loaded up this big ass roll of, I don't know if it was copper or pearls or whatever, but there's a big ass fucking roll of it.
Damn.
And so when they took off, it wasn't secured and it shifted.
Oh.
And it caused the nose of the plane to go up.
Stall. Yeah.
Yeah, so the plane basically like went straight up.
Yeah.
And then
that's what puts you in a stall, and then you're fucking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and if you can't get the nose down because of the weight in the back, you're fucked.
But then it's like, now imagine being that guy being like, no.
To the admirals, yeah.
Then it's like, they're going to ruin your life, and then the next guy's going to come and fly the motherfucker and land it successfully. No one's going to give a fuck about what would have happened. And so it's the same thing. It's like, no one, if you say no to Kobe Bryant, you're going to get fired. By the time they send a replacement pilot, the fog's going to have cleared up. They're going to be at the basketball game one time, and no one gives a fuck. No one's going to be like, you saved everyone's life. No one cares.
That's a great point. No one's going to be like, what a hero.
Right.
Because you don't have that like final destination clairvoyance into what could have happened.
Exactly.
But that's a great point. Yeah. So that guy was really damned if he did, damned if he didn't.
Yeah. Well, dead if he did, damned if he did.
Yeah. Just damned.
Yeah.
Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by the fine folk at Purple. It's funny. There's all these gimmicks that promise great night's sleep. And I'll tell you what, that's all they are, is just gimmicks. I don't care what kind of toppers there are or how heavy a blanket may be. It's all lipstick on a pig, if you ask me. If you're sleeping on a terrible mattress, your sleep is going to be terrible. It's as simple as that. That's why I recommend sleeping on a Purple mattress. I went to go visit my father, back in Thanksgiving time when I went home to Buffalo. And I went and he's like, stay with me. And I go up to his guest room and he's got me basically sleeping on a freaking sack of hay. I mean, I don't even know what the hell this mattress was made of. You know what I did? Hooked him up with a Purple mattress for that room. Now when I go home, booyah. only Purple mattresses have the Gel Flex grid, and you can be damn sure I'm not sleeping on a mattress if it don't have that. So I hooked my dad's guest room up, and now if you want to go stay with my dad, you can go check it out. Super stretchy, ultra squishy material that adapts and flexes around pressure points, and it doesn't retain heat. That Gel Flex grid, man, it's amazingly supportive on your back and legs as well, while cushioning your shoulders, neck, and hips no matter how you sleep. So right now, getting a great night's sleep starts with having a great mattress. Remember that fact. Get a Purple mattress right now. Go to purple.com/Josh and use code Josh. For a limited time, you can get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/Josh using code Josh for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Purple.com/Josh, promo code Josh, terms apply. Today's Josh Potter Show also brought to us by StitchFix. Boy, do I love clothes. I don't have necessarily a great eye for it, though, and I like kind of when someone's like, hey, you know what you'd look good in? This. I really always love a good recommendation. And when it comes to looking good, Stitch Fix, they got you covered. Say goodbye to endless browsing. You know, I never know. When I'm browsing, it could go forever. It's like Netflix, you know, I spend more time picking a title than you do watching a film. I do that when it comes to clothes shopping as well. Online shopping especially can be daunting, and you never know if things are going to fit right. Returns can be difficult. You don't even know what store to start with. This season, let Stitch Fix, do all the hard work for you. Your style isn't one size fits all. It's about what suits your body and what suits the moment. So why not shop at a store that is personalized to your size and your style, my friend? Stitch Fix is a freestyle. Stitch Fix Freestyle is a shop built just for you. I want you to go check it out, my friends. It's trusted style destination where you can discover and instantly buy curated items based on your style, likes, and lifestyle. Whether you're looking for brand new you or you want to do something that you already know all about, they've got it for you, man. They're going to hook it up. Plus, there's no subscription required. They offer free shipping, returns, and exchanges on things. So, I mean, this is something you should go check out today. Get started by filling out your style quiz at stitchfix.com/Josh. Again, that's stitchfix.com/Josh to try Stitch Fix Freestyle, stitchfix.com/Josh. But let's get into these dildos, because this is something that I don't think the nation knows about. People in Buffalo know about it plenty.
Well,
did you even see this when it happened in the game if you were watching it?
No. I didn't. I have no idea. I had no idea about any of this.
Right. And so, I mean, coming from Buffalo, I know about it because I've seen it many a time. And
who is this pointing at the dildo?
I can't tell. I think that's the guy who scored the touchdown. Maybe, I think his name is, who's 20? Can you Google who's 24 on the Patriots for me, Kirsten? I think that's what his number is, 24. Whoever the running back is.
No, that's 67. No.
That's 67. The guy
right.
in the foreground is the running back, I do believe. But years ago, and of course, Tom Brady owned our division for 20 years.
Yeah, hold that guy for sure.
Tom Brady and Belichick both did.
No, it's 24.
Yes, 24 on the Patriots. It's not Bills. Patriots, please. Taron Johnson is the number 24 on the Buffalo Bills. On the Patriots, it might not even have been 24. I don't fucking know. Whoever their running back is, Harrison, I want to say. That's who's pointing at it. He just scored a touchdown, and was one of their only touchdowns in the game. So then someone threw it.
How does it feel to finally be dominating the Patriots?
I mean, it's technically 2 games. We won 2 out of 3. That fucking game where they beat us on Monday Night Football with just running the ball. Is it 34? What does it say there? 84, my bad.
I think it says 84.
My bad. 84.
Oh, that's a receiver.
Yeah. Who's fucking 84? I don't even know. I don't know anyone on the fucking Patriots anymore other than Mac Jones. Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah, you shouldn't know who that is.
I mean, he's fucking, 3rd on the depth chart? Anyhow, so all those years when they would destroy us, I would ache for the day that we would beat them in our home stadium. It was like, I remember the day that it happened. Ryan Fitzpatrick was the quarterback. But regardless, ever since Tom Brady has been motherfucking us, everyone's hated him. He's one of the most hated figures in Buffalo in a Patriots uniform. And it became a tradition where people started throwing dildos on the field, and they would label them Brady's dildo, as if to suggest he has a pussy and he fucks his pussy with dildos. And so they're like, you dropped your dildo. kind of thing. They throw it on the ground. And a couple of times, like, referees would go like, what the hell is that? Like, in the first couple of instances, it was foreign. No one ever threw dildos on the field before, so they would walk up to it. I remember the first time it ever happened, a referee saw it on the field. He walked up to it, and he, like, bent over to pick it up, and he realized what it was, and then he started just, like, kicking it off the field, but it was like a dildo, so it's tough to kick, in one fell swoop. So he's like, hustling it down off the field, and someone came over and was like, what the fuck is this? And so it became a big story. Oh my God, there's someone threw a dildo on the field. And then that one right there is an aerial of the second dildo that occurred, Brady's dildo.
So
right
same
there.
game.
Different game. This is a couple of years, maybe a season or two later. Someone did it again. The one with the face over there on the right. That was
they put googly eyes on it.
Yes, that was the second instance that I know of. And now this one, it was the third instance, this one without Tom Brady. So the tradition, the torch has been passed, the dildo torch has been passed to Mac Jones now.
Does that one say Mac Jones on it?
I haven't gotten the zoomed in. This dildo kind of went by the wayside. That's why I'm starting to wonder two things. Did no one see who the person who threw this dildo? Or are the Bills accepting this like the crashing through tables? Is this becoming a new tradition where they're like, well, the dildo comes on the field, it's part of the Bills?
Well, this shot was off TV.
Yes, this is a screen grab from the television.
See, man, this is something that I love, is that I remember when the networks used to be able to gloss over these things and they would never be talked about again.
Well, this was very, to their credit, this was very glossed over. In fact, many people watching the broadcast didn't even catch this. But, Twitter being what it is, found it.
They don't miss nothing.
They don't miss it. And also, like, if you're a Bills fan, you see that real quick, you go, oh, the dildo. It's like folklore. Like it says here, it's been 5 seasons since the fan first tossed a sex toy into the end zone at Highmark Stadium. The tradition was revived on Saturday night in the third quarter of Buffalo's 47-17 rout of the rival Patriots in the AFC wildcard round. After Kendrick Bourne, I could have found out who it was after I read this article, caught a third quarter touchdown from Mac Jones, a fan launched and fired a dildo. The object flew right by Bourne and landed in the corner of the end zone where the incredulous receiver pointed to it and was caught by the CBS cameras as we're showing here.
See, this one here the one that he's pointing at, it looks like one of those with suction cups on the bottom.
Yes.
I think they were trying to nail him on the helmet with that thing.
That would have been great. That would have been probably peak.
That would be
dildo
legendary.
Toss.
That's legendary.
That or it getting like stuck, the shaft getting stuck in the face mask. It looks like he's blowing it. That would have been. That's another. I bet that's like that's like hitting a strike in bowling.
And listen, and if you did that to somebody, I feel like that football player has every right to go up in the stands and throw hands with you.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what I think too. Like. I love it because it's so degrading. Like he's so perplexed. He's like, "What the fuck? There's a fucking dick right there."
Yeah.
He pointed like, "Is that a fucking dick?" Like he's pointing to it and being like.
And the thing is, you don't know for a fact that hasn't been inside someone.
Of course, I would hope that it is. I hope every dildo thrown was used in a way that is also disgusting. I don't want it to be used in a loving way. I don't want it to be like, this. We had some fun nights with this one, and then you throw it. I want it to be like, this is the one that I fucked that trailer trash whore with, and you throw it.
I mean, that's the economical choice. I mean, you buy the new dildo and toss the old one. You don't.
Yeah,
you don't
that's another good point.
New dildo to toss.
Just to toss it. No, I would hope it was used, and I would hope it was used in grotesque ways. Yeah. Now, the Bills also are known for when they score a touchdown, we play the shout song. That's what it's called. Have you heard the shout song?
No.
It's the shout song from the olden times. Hey. That's when we play that, and we go, the Bills are happening now. They change all the words. They go, it's like, let's go Buffalo. It's like a song they play at weddings, but now in Buffalo we play it you have to play it at weddings. But I made a song years ago when this is 5 years ago now. I didn't realize it was that old. I made a Bills dildo shout song, and it hasn't been embraced by the franchise, and I'm wondering why. Here's the song.
You make me throw dildos, throwing dildos on the field, kicking dildos off the field, chucking dildos on the field. Come on now, the Bills are making us throw dildos, throwing dildos, baby. Come on, come on.
Throw dildos.
Say
not a great chorus.
Will ya?
Throw dildos.
Hey, 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 hey. Let's all throw dildos. thrills make me wanna
Throw dildos on the field, obviously. Ugh.
Nobody circles the wagons
Like the Buffalo Bills.
What is it about people from? It's a Buffalo and Chicago thing.
What's that?
The singing off key.
Am I that? I mean, it's also just I'm poor at singing.
But
that was supposed to be pretty bad.
But there was a
actually.
whole crowd of people that was poor.
Oh, this is the thing in radio. I made that for morning radio. You know, it's like a gag the next day after the radio. It's like, oh, the dildo's on the field. It's how can we make fun of that? So I made that stupid song. And, you know, when you're doing things on the fly like that, I have to gather people from the office. So it's like a sales guy or a lady who works in a cube over here. So I'm like just getting, and especially early in the morning, it's like, how many people are here? 4? So I got them all in a room and they were so pathetic that I thought it was actually hilarious. So I'm like, be as pathetic as possible.
So I thought it was like you caught people at a tailgate.
No. Those were just office people. I would have loved to have like a full audience, like really doing it.
Yeah, just get all the guys in the parking lot that jump through tables.
Yes, no, that would have been the dream. But I had to do it. I was crunched for time. I made that in like 20 minutes. That's the thing about. I've carried that over to podcasting, and in podcasting, I have quite a bit more time, still doing things as if I have 20 minutes at the end of the day. But yeah, that's the dildo tradition, and I hope it continues, frankly. And you asked me a question earlier before we went on about Josh Allen and comparing him to Joe Burrow, and I'm curious your question about that. I wanted you to save it. What was that comparison? Or you said that they're completely different?
They're like two sides of the same coin. They're like he's like the anti-Burrow.
How is that? And explain it.
Because he's not as cool.
Okay.
But he's more. I don't know how to explain it. He's like Ben Roethlisberger with wheels. You know.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying in terms of his playing style. He's Joe Burrow's got wheels though, but he's a little more like
he's a little
scrappy.
Yeah, and Joe Burrow's a little more like who's the dude? Who's the dude that was a quarterback of the Jets when they won? You know, some famous.
Oh, Joe Namath.
Yeah, he's more of a Namath to me. Like he's more of a.
He's got swag. He's got
more swaggy, more.
Coming into the league after winning a national championship put him on the stage. You know what I'm saying? Like the main stage, and he was a number 1 overall pick. So he has that, and he's got like that Sports Illustrated cover where he's smoking a cigar after, you know, in his LSU jersey.
And he was good immediately.
Yeah, because, I mean, but he was on that. Josh Allen came out of Wyoming. You know, he played college in Wyoming. That shit, like, I used to watch. This is so crazy because, like, I used to watch Josh Allen play in Wyoming purely because of gambling. Because it would be, I'd live on the East Coast, and it would be one of the late West Coast games. And I'd be like, this Josh Allen guy throws the ball like a million miles down the field. And they would always hit the over. And it was like, I would bet that game. And then when the Bills were like talking about drafting him, I'm like, I was nervous. I'm like, the guy from Wyoming? We're going to draft the guy from fucking Wyoming?
He's good, man.
And he is good. But I get what you're saying. Like, Josh Allen is goofier than Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but you like them for different reasons.
Yes, I think you're right about, one's got a little more, he's like Joe Burrow. Whereas Josh Allen, he's doing the goofy thumbs up. But I like the goofiness.
I like the hill just
because he's also got a little swag
I like the hill
too.
Run you the fuck over.
Yeah, because he's 6'7", 6'8", something crazy, bigger than these fucking linebackers, and he'll just fucking boom run you over.
Yeah,
and Joe Burrow will run too.
But let's do a little less of that, Josh Allen, because I'm telling you, man, it don't matter how big you are, because as
you get older.
Yeah, it's like Ben Roethlisberger. It's like you're gonna slowly start accumulating injuries.
Right, because Ben Roethlisberger used to scramble. He used to like extend the pocket. You know, and he wouldn't necessarily run for 20 yards, but he would like, you know, get out of the pocket and scramble a little bit back in his youth.
Or even like if someone's hanging on him, he wouldn't go down.
Right, he wouldn't go down because someone would. Ben Roethlisberger, by the way, I didn't talk about this after his retirement. He just played his last football game recently. People forget. They talk about the rape thing, obviously, but they forget also the man was on a motorcycle without a helmet, got hit by a car, went headfirst through the windshield, and then like played a game.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't do it. Like, don't you got a publicist, dude? Why would you use the word consent?
That was rough.
He
does have a publicist.
It's like, who let you do that?
I don't understand how his rape stuff gets just so like it's because of his God stuff. Because he talks about God in every speech he makes.
It ain't got shit to do with that, man.
That's what all these fucking guys that do shit.
Dude.
Yeah, well, I get that, but I'm saying like all these reform guys, like Jim Kelly, I talk about it all the time. Jim Kelly's my Not my favorite quarterback of the Bills ever. Not even in my top 5 because he's a scumbag.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a scumbag. And he used to beat his wife. It's in books and shit. But now he claims God, so he thinks he's forgiven for all that. Meanwhile, he got cancer. So people start going like, oh, you know, Jim Kelly's a good guy. You know, he's got cancer. His son's sick. You know, all this stuff piled on. So people forgot that in the 80s and 90s, he was a dickhead.
He used to beat his wife?
Oh, yeah. Slap her up and shit, beat her up. And there's police reports. There's a book where she talks about it. And they're like, and then we discovered the Lord, and now everything's hunky-dory. It's just so wild to me. And Ben Roethlisberger does the same thing. He gets out in front of every press conference with, God did this, love God, this, that, the other thing. It's so fucking weird because you know that he has these accusations.
No, I think his PR team was brilliant back then because, see, the NFL will protect the players from everything unless they think it's going to make the league look bad.
Yeah.
And remember, when he got the sexual assault allegations, the videos in the bar mysteriously disappeared.
Yep.
And think about
not only that, by the way, he was in his college town, Miami of Ohio.
Right.
When that all went down, or like nearby that. These are like college town. So he's like a legend there. So they're like, oh, Ben had a problem. We're like, we deleted those tapes. We got Ben's back.
I'll give you $100,000 for those tapes.
Yeah.
And because remember the Ray Rice thing.
Yep.
The NFL,
Revel Casino.
Yep. The NFL knew about the Ray Rice thing way before the rest of us did.
Yep.
And then when the tape went public, they were like, you're fucking out of here.
He was suspended for 4 games before that. That's it. And then the tape came out and they're like, okay.
Life.
Now you're done forever. And that what's wild about that video of him, I was at that casino like, I don't know, a month or 2 before the tape came out. I was at the Revel Casino and my girlfriend had an incident where she had broken her leg like a couple of days before we went to this I had a show in Atlantic City. She wanted to come with me still despite breaking her leg. But on the way down, she like re-dislocated something. And so I had to like put it back in and I had to like take her. The Revel Casino is like a city inside. So I'm like, they didn't have a wheelchair or anything. I'm like dragging her through this casino, like over my shoulder and shit. So there's a video of me dragging my girlfriend out of an elevator in the Revel Casino too, but for completely different circumstances at the end of the day. But I'll be like, I know that elevator. That's wild.
And let me ask you this. Do you think they would have let Roethlisberger slide if he hadn't won?
I don't know, because also back then there was no Me Too. So it wasn't like there was much pressure on the league to take action. As much as not to be callous about it, but people just didn't give a shit as much about rape then as they do in the 2020s. You know, they looked at it like that's bad, but then just kind of went like the same thing. Deshaun Watson's going on right now, and it's going to a civil situation. It's not going to a criminal situation. So they're like, yeah, he'll be fine to play. Maybe he gets a disciplinary slap on the wrist, but he's not going to be Ray Rice.
He didn't play at all this season, right?
No, and that was out of like also mutual disdain for him and the organization. If he would have gotten traded by like week 8, he probably could have. Like, what are they going to say to stop him? No charges have been filed, nothing. It's all civil suits.
And but he wanted to go before that.
Yeah, he's been, before the accusations, he wanted to be traded. So now it became a stalemate. Once the accusations happened, his stock went down. So they couldn't really trade him for what they would have wanted to get for him. So they kind of were like, well, we're not trading you. And he was like, well, I'm not playing then. And then they just kind of like inactivated him. Plus, they didn't know if they did activate him, how many games he'd be suspended for. So it's like this stalemate. It's wild down there. But we do have another football player in the news. This is this is the time. It's becoming silly season. A lot of teams are off, now that they're out of the running and they're not playing any longer. So players are going back to their hometowns. They're getting in a little bit of trouble. It happens every year. This gentleman's got a bit of a rap sheet. Browns defensive tackle Malik McDowell was arrested Monday in Florida on charges of beating a deputy, but also public exposure. So he not only beat a deputy, but somehow his penis was exposed.
Maybe they came up on him while he was taking a piss.
Let's find out. Video has emerged of his arrest in which he was completely naked.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Sometimes when I'm taking a piss, you want to make sure you don't get anything on anything, right? So take it off.
I mean, I completely naked. I don't think I even do that in my house.
Not to take a piss. I'll do it maybe to take a shit sometimes.
Oh yeah, if I can feel it bubbling up in a way where I'm like, there's gonna be a shower after this.
Yes, it has to be like, you know what? I'm gonna take a shower after this anyway. I'll shit naked.
Yeah. But,
I've taken my shirt off to shit though.
But just to piss standing.
Yeah, outside. So that can't be the reason.
No.
At one point in the video, McDowell can be seen resisting his position, and an officer appears to kick him to keep him down. According to a South Florida Sun-Sentinel reporter, McDowell was arrested in Deerfield Beach, a town about 25 minutes north of Fort Lauderdale. Police accused him of a violent attack on a deputy that left the officer dazed. The deputy alleged that McDowell charged at him at full speed with a closed fist. That sounds like some deputy shit, though. You charged at me, sir. That's why I shot him. Is this pictures of him as they approached him?
Yeah, these are all of him.
And he's just, this is naked, right? We can show that?
Wow, man.
I guess that's like a pretty good like IG glamour shot. Like I feel like bitches on Instagram are doing that one. The one where he's laying down. Like he's hiding all the things.
But why are you outside naked laying in the street? That's
what's so perplexing to me, and I hope it has it here. The narrator of the video says that McDowell fought with police and then says he's about to get tased right now. They tased him. McDowell was allegedly walking naked near a student learning center. He's clearly on some. When you see somebody naked in the street, you don't go, "Hey, is that all pro defensive tackle Malik McDowell?"
No, man. You know what? If I had to take a guess, I would say he on that water.
What's that mean?
He's on that on them dippers. You know what I'm talking about?
What's water?
They dip cigarettes in
like PCP.
PCP.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it means to get wet.
Yeah, getting wet. Yeah, and because that's the only time I see people acting where you're like, this is crazy.
Because they're like, doing. The bugs are in my skin, and they take their clothes off and shit, and they're running around the street.
Right. Yeah.
It's usually meth or something like that. So here it says McDowell was allegedly walking naked near a student learning center and entered the property while naked. The deputy said he used his taser and handcuffed McDowell after being charged at. Apparently somebody may have slipped him something or given him something he was unaware of, which explains his bizarre behavior, says his defense attorney.
Giving him something he was unaware of.
The Browns say that they are aware of the very concerning incident and arrest involving Malik McDowell and are in the process of gathering more information. We understand the severity of this matter and our thoughts are with the well-being of all involved. I would want to put my thoughts with Malik McDowell. What's he doing here? Something's going on. He's naked at a learning center.
Yeah, was the officer hurt?
Evidently he was just, it doesn't say that he was sustained any injuries here or anything like that.
Did the dick touch him though?
That's something
that could be traumatizing.
That could be. I mean, cops. What do you think their ratio of like dealing with naked people goes? I feel like it's a common occurrence. They're like, oh god, it's like twice a month.
I feel like EMTs deal with it way more.
Well, this is what I learned at the ER when I was there for a many of hour. Firefighters, EMTs, and firefighters, if they have to deal with like a homeless person, they just go throw them at the ER, drop them off, and then they have to admit them. So they're taking up beds and shit.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? And they're there. And I'm like, I'm there. I'm like, I have to pay my bill. You know what I'm saying? I wondered, I'm looking back now. I'm like, what if I just put in a different address or lied and said I didn't have an address? They could never send me that bill.
Well, yeah, but now what they do is they find out all that shit before they treat you. And
yes.
So they can decide.
Well, that's what they did to me.
They can decide what to give you.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they gave me a CTE scan or whatever that is, and that's going to be the expensive part, I learned. But they probably wouldn't have done that if I was homeless.
Yeah, exactly.
But I didn't really need
You'd
it.
be like, I don't have an address. They'd be like,
I feel like they did that just to up the cost.
Looked in your ear with that light, and I'm like, you're fine.
Yeah, they could have just cut it open and drained me and then kick rocks like they ended up doing anyways. But here, listen to this. This guy, a Detroit native, played his college games at Michigan State, but he's been arrested previously. In 2017, he was charged with DUI in Michigan and disorderly conduct in Atlanta after an incident at a nightclub. We don't like the DUI shame here. He was also arrested.
What year was that?
That was 2017. 2 arrests there. He was also arrested for operating a vehicle while intoxicated in 2019. Spent 66 days in jail. And he was also arrested in 2019 for resisting arrest. He was a second-round pick for the Seahawks in 2017. Due to injuries and his arrests, he has not appeared in an NFL game until this season.
Holy shit.
He must be fucking good.
So he was drafted in 2017.
Yes. And didn't play because of all his like dealings with arrests and then also injuries on top of that. He hadn't played in a single game until 2021.
Then he went and got wet.
He must have.
So, wow.
He's charged with violence and battery on a law enforcement officer, exposing himself in public and resisting arrest.
And the incident happened in Miami?
Yes.
Not Cleveland.
In Florida, yeah. That's where people be getting wet, though.
Yeah, I mean.
Florida's where, that's like the wettest state, I'm going to say.
I feel like arrest should be like your credit. Like it should fall off after 7 years.
I think it does for certain things. You get expunged, as they say, if it's a small offense.
Yeah, but you have to do it. You don't. It doesn't automatically.
Some do. I mean, I got a DUI in my youth, but it was pled down to 3 parking tickets.
Oh, wow.
And those things got points on my license. But 7 years later, none of the arrest shows, like it doesn't even show that I have a DUI or anything.
Oh, that's awesome.
But unless you go to Canada, unless you're talking about the Canadian government, they seem to have. They seem to give a shit.
So did it happen in Canada?
No.
Oh, but the Canadian.
Anytime you get an alcohol-related arrest in America, you are banned from Canada. You are considered an undesirable unless you you pay some money. A lawyer goes to the embassy and does some bullshit.
Who the fuck wants to go to Canada that bad?
I mean, I used to grow. Where I grew up and where I lived for many a year in Buffalo, you can see Canada over the river. Like I had an apartment one time where I could look over the river and see Canada. Oh. It's that close. So I was going to Canada all the time to gigs. I was going up there to fuck around, but that's why not many people know that rule because not many people give a fuck about going to Canada, you know?
Right.
And especially you live in Texas or some shit, you get an alcohol-related arrest, you don't give a fuck about going to Canada, so you don't even inquire about that thing. Some people end up going over the border on accident, you know, they have a layover or something, and then they get kicked out of the country because they don't even know that's a thing.
They don't even know that they're not supposed to be in Canada.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And then they go, you're an undesirable, blah, 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 blah. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by the fine folk at DoorDash. I love DoorDash. They've basically made it so I don't have to leave my house if I don't want to ever. I mean, when it comes to groceries, when it comes to odds and ends, things like toothpaste and razors, stuff that I don't want to go to the store and go get. I can just pull up my old DoorDash app and boom, I can get the little inconveniences conveniently delivered to my door. Again, not only just groceries and odds and ends, they do restaurants. And boy, oh boy, I don't know if you've explored your town of restaurants. I mean, now you don't have to go to the place to actually experiment a little bit. You can go, hey, I want to give this one a try. DoorDash has got it. They've got a ton of restaurants in your hometown. Not only just the chains, they've got the mom and pop ones as well. So whether it's dinner, groceries, booze, stuff like that, you can get it all delivered to your door simply by using DoorDash. And for a limited time, my listeners can get 25% off and 0 delivery fees on their first order of $15 or more when they download the DoorDash app and enter code JOSH. That's right, 25% off up to $10 value and 0 delivery fees on their first order when they download the DoorDash app in the App Store. Enter that code JOSH and boom, don't forget that's code JOSH for 25% off your first order with DoorDash. Subject to change, terms apply. Today's Josh Potter Show is also brought to us by Noom Mood. If you've been struggling with mental health, and Lord knows that I have, this hospital stuff has me at a new level of low, and I'm thankful that Noom Mood is something that exists because it helps get my brain out of that spiral, frankly. And we could all use a little bit of that at this time in our lives, I'm sure, coming out of, this past couple of years and things like that. And a Noom Mood is a guide, actually, to help with your mental wellness. They give you tools that you need to tackle stress so you'll feel empowered to take on whatever life throws at you. So stop stressing, stop worrying, stop with the anxiety, and get that all out of your life. and let Noom Mood help you, my friend. They realize that, not one size fits all when it comes to helping mental illness and striving for mental wellness. So they're going to help you figure out what it takes for you to take the necessary steps and move forward. It's backed by science. Lessons are based on psychological principles that teach you about your relationship with stress and anxiety. It's very robust. It provides you with a variety of tools and techniques to try out and discover. And they're going to hold your hand along the way. Daily curriculum coupled with one-on-one coaches that guide you and encourage you on your journey. Plus, it's accessible and convenient. Only 10 minutes a day you can do it whenever and wherever you would like, my friend. So right now, worry less, feel happier. Sign up for your free trial, sign up for your trial at Noom.com/Josh. That's NOOM.com/Josh to get your trial. But let's get into the news, shall we? Oh, it's all me, baby. It's all me. Sometimes people remix them and they send in fun little versions of it. And by the way, if you have any remixes or if you want to send in a Roach report, joshpottershow@gmail.com. I keep forgetting to plug that off the rip. And I want you to keep sending things in. We've got plenty of Roach reporters out there sending things in today that are fun. The top of the pile I wanted to get into. It was over here because I wanted to I left this on the table for my episode with Adam Ferrara last week because I didn't think he'd have any takes on this, but I wanted to bring it up with you. Drake's hot sauce condom. And Jefferson Nally, our Roach award-winning Roach reporter, sent in this story, and I wanted to give it its proper due. And so you know the whole inner workings of this, right?
Yeah.
You know the background. To tell people back at home, I'll get into the nitty-gritty of it real quick. Drake, talk of Twitter, after an Instagram model who hooked up with the rapper claimed he put hot sauce inside his used condom after their 20-minute fuck session. Drake, whose full name, Aubrey Drake Graham, did not know that, is said to be worth a staggering $150 million, so it isn't surprising to some people, are willing to do just about anything to get a piece of that money.
True.
So what happened here, according to MTO News, Drake and the model had apparently been flirting on Instagram before deciding to finally meet 2 weeks ago. The woman claims they went to his hotel where they smoked weed. They then had sex, which apparently lasted for 20 minutes. What do you think about that lasting 20 minutes? That's an average time.
I feel like that's
all right.
That's some solid fucking.
That's a good fuck sesh, Drake. I'm not going to get on you for that. After ejaculating inside the condom, the rapper went to the bathroom to get rid of it. What allegedly happened next is completely crazy. The model, what's that?
I feel like you don't have to do foreplay when you're famous.
No, I think it's fun, though. Wouldn't you want to do it for the fun of it?
I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be Drake.
I guess if you're Drake and you don't like foreplay, I'm just happy Drake's with a person that is above age. And we're not hearing anything about, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think if you're putting hot sauce in your condoms, you probably ain't eating that pussy. You know what I'm saying? You probably don't trust it to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. No, that's true. I mean, I don't know, actually. Here's the thing. These women could be obviously they have their ulterior motives, as they're suggesting here. She went to go retrieve the used condom from the bathroom, which is, no matter what the situation that follows that sentence, that's fucked up.
Yeah, so when it first came out, all I saw was hot sauce Drake condom, and I didn't know what order. Because I thought it was like, oh, he puts hot sauce on the condoms.
You thought it was like some Led Zeppelin shit where it's like, I'm going to degrade this woman by burning up her pussy.
Exactly, yeah. But I didn't realize that, he puts hot sauce in the condom to kill the sperms, which I don't think the science behind that is settled.
Does hot sauce kill sperm?
I don't think so.
I get the theory thinking like, this will murder the sperm because it's hot or whatever, but like, I don't know, put in like fucking hand sanitizer, wouldn't you think, or something?
But also, Drake, they have spermicide. They have something that for sure kills
the lube,
sperm.
spermicidal lube.
Yeah, well, I think you can just buy straight spermicide and just put it in the condom. You don't have to use hot sauce.
Can we Google hot sauce effects on jizz and see what occurs?
Yeah, we can't be the only people to Google that in the last
especially in the last couple of weeks here. But again, her retrieving the condom, and I always wondered the science behind this, because I've heard of like women freezing sperm and stuff like that, but like, how do you take a condom full of jizz and get pregnant by that?
I don't know. But also, dude, you know what? I mean, if you're that paranoid, man, I would take that motherfucker. I'll put that shit in a paper towel, put that shit in a paper cup, and put that motherfucker in the microwave.
That's a good one too. Microwave the jizz.
Microwave that shit.
That's gotta do it.
That's murdering everything.
Or just like putting it in I feel like just putting it in
Or you're gonna have a weird baby.
Or just like getting a cup of hot water and just putting it in that would kill it. I feel like just heat.
Like hot water?
Like boiling water?
Boiling water? Okay, yeah.
Like you get you're in a hotel room, so you're limited resources. You get the Keurig machine going, and then you dump it in that.
Yeah, anything.
So the hot sauce doesn't make sense. Now that you brought that up, that's a great point.
I think the hot sauce serves another purpose.
Well, here's where the hot sauce comes in handy. It's not maybe necessarily to kill the sperm. It is, however, to deter a woman from putting said sperm into her pussy.
Exactly. It's to go, up, gotcha, bitch. Hold on, you need help?
It's more of a bear trap than it is to nuke the sperm.
Which I think he's trying to avoid that because that could potentially make him criminally liable.
I think her going into the wastebasket and retrieving the condom takes all liability away from Drake.
But it doesn't. Because it's about intent, right? It's like if you put the hot sauce in there knowing that she was likely to put it in her pussy, then you still assaulted her. That's how the law sees it.
I guess.
It's just like you could buy a home. You're not allowed to put, deadly booby traps.
That's true.
Around your home. You know what I'm saying? Even if the person breaks into your home, if you have a fucking guillotine waiting to chop their head off.
Right, that's true. And also, like, I've heard stories too, like a person falls through a skylight who's trying to break into a home and then like breaks their leg and they sue the homeowner.
I have heard that story. I don't know.
You think that's true?
I don't think so.
But do you think it falls in the same sort of?
It's the same sort of, because it's all about your intent. There's a difference between you going, I put the hot sauce in there to kill the sperm. I didn't know she was going to try to put it inside her, or going, I knew she would try to put it inside her, and it would be like just like if you put poison in there.
That's a great point.
And you were like, I knew she was going to try to do that shit, and I put poison in there. And then
serves her right.
Right, but it's like she's wrong, but you still wrong.
Interesting. So I wonder so do you think there's any fallout from this? I'm
on his side though.
I am too. I mean, I don't care that he was like, I think it's fucked up that they're digging through I'm sure NBA players are out there. They're like, oh, you know where he fucked up with the hot sauce? He should have did X, Y, Z.
He probably heard that from an NBA player.
I'm sure there are NBA players that have taken up the hot sauce. He especially too loves the NBA and the players in it. So he probably did get that trick from one of them. But I bet there's a whole school of thinking. I'd love to talk to a large swath of NBA players about what they do with their jizz in these incidents, because there are women preying upon them constantly. They're waiting in the hotel lobbies.
Oh yeah, you remember there's a show called Ray Donovan.
Yeah,
he in the first episode or two, he's he's the bag man for some NBA player, and he shows up at the hotel right as he catches the girl who just put the sperm in a fucking cooler.
Yes, that's where they freeze it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's like, man, you got the real, and she did it from a blowjob.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, and then she was like,
yep, she went in the bathroom, spit it into like a little canister, and then ran down and put it in her trunk.
What is the potency of jizz when it gets transferred so much like that? I thought when it comes out into the air, like when your sperms come into the world out of your penis, unless they're in the vagina already, I thought when they come in the air, they just all like, I'm melting.
I don't know.
The second they touch the air.
Listen, even if there's because imagine you're just some hot girl, you got no other skills.
Yeah.
And there's a 0.1% chance that you can get rich from getting pregnant. You're gonna take it.
But there are cases where NBA players have fallen prey to this.
Oh yeah, all the time.
So I'm wondering what were the tactics of the women in those cases? Like, which is the most effective way to get to hijack some jizz? This is true semen. This is like reverse semen terrorism. This is like semen trafficking. Sex trafficking.
I mean, she should definitely be in more trouble than him, and she's probably in no trouble.
I don't know that he's even in any trouble. I don't think it became a criminal thing. I think it was one of those like spill the tea type situations. Like that. Remember the girl who was like, I blew 7 Suns players. She was just getting clout.
I think it's going to definitely be a civil thing though, and she's going to win.
But did she put it in her?
Her pussy's damaged.
Did she put it inside of her?
Yeah.
She fished the condom out of the trash, untied it, and put the open end into her vagina. You don't notice it's red, bitch?
I don't know. I don't think she was thinking clearly. She was just like, ching ching. She just saw dollar signs.
She just saw green. She didn't see that red. She saw green. And so, boy, she was in for a surprise. She said it felt like pouring hot lava into her pussy. She screamed and Drake ran into the bathroom. He admitted that he poured a packet of hot sauce into the condom to kill the sperm. So he just had a packet of hot sauce too. He had some fucking fire sauce from Taco Bell or some shit.
That's what they call that hotline bling. You hear that hotline scream? It can only mean one thing.
That's right.
You was trying to have my baby, bitch.
That sounds like a woman who tried to have my kid. My pussy's burning.
Oh, man.
And as outlandish as this may seem, this is nothing new. For some women, having a baby fathered by a wealthy man is the ultimate come-up story. This shocking trend is apparently not lost on men like Drake. American athletes have always been advised to take their used condoms with them if they can't. Imagine that cross to bear. You just got to be like, we're going to play the Denver Nuggets, so I got to take all my used condoms home now or whatever.
Yeah, you got to have a little thermos.
How long does jizz live in a condom?
Man,
can you please Google that, Kirsten? If did we find out about the hot sauce? What yielded? Always chime in if you find something. By the way,
Kirsten. Or like, is there somebody on the team whose job it is to like dispose of it for you?
I'm like an equipment guy. He's like. I got to do the rounds. He's knocking on the door. Condom check. You guys got any condoms? He's got one of those hazard bags like they have for needles and shit.
So they got to check every girl that's leaving your hotel room. Say, lift up your tongue.
They got a thing by the keys, where you drop the keys. They got another box for condoms for NBA players.
Jeez, man. I can't imagine. Especially being so young, too, because, we see these dudes doing all this athletic shit and we don't realize, like they're young people.
Oh, they're so young. And they're like, 22, 23 years old, and they're rich as fuck.
Yep, they're rich.
That would make me a psychopath.
They're rich and they're horny because their testosterone's through the roof.
And they're getting crazy pussy. I mean, the pussy that is coming to an NBA player is pussy that you and I out there will never, ever get to imagine.
At least not to that degree. Some
of these chicks I look at, I can't even fantasize about fucking.
Like some of those girls, it's like the type of shit that would happen to one of us every once in a while. When you'd be like, "Oh my fucking God, I can't believe." To them, they're like, again.
No, it becomes their standard.
Yeah.
So it is kind of that is true. It's like the sweet does not get sweeter when it's all the time.
Except imagine being like the 12th man.
And getting pussy?
And no, but like you're not. It's not like that for you.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing. I think it could be because there's a deluge of women. So they can't all get the LeBron, and they know that. So they're like, oh, you're on the team. That's good enough. You know what I mean? They're not even like, I guess NBA, the league minimum is pretty low. But at the end of the day, if you're the sixth man coming off the bench, but you're saying the 12th man, I think if you're like on the everyday roster, you're still making like high six figures.
Yeah. And you know something too, man? It's not, I think for a lot of those type of women, it ain't even about the money as much as it's about the prestige.
I don't know. I think it's about the money though.
Nah, because listen, you notice how the owners don't be getting that kind of pussy.
Yes, they do.
I mean, they do, but for like, okay, put it like this.
Look at Sterling.
Why is Robert Kraft getting hand jobs in a massage parlor?
I think that's a little. He's got a pension.
He's got to pay. Like the type of girls the owners are getting, it's a transaction.
Yeah,
it's not like I'm gonna pretend to love you or any of that shit.
But also there are like a guy like Robert Kraft who has this air of like, I'm a family man, I'm happily married. He's got to do shit on the sneak. Whereas some of these guys are just blatant about their pussy. They don't care. They got this.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what was his name? Not Roger Sterling. That's the dude from Mad Men. But the dude who used to own the Clippers, who was like dating a smoke show Instagram model.
It was Roger Sterling, right?
Roger Sterling's a guy from Mad Men, but I think it's Donald Sterling, maybe.
Sterling, yeah.
Yeah. So he basically was like, the whole reason he got in trouble, there was recordings of him telling his then Instagram model girlfriend, he's like, I don't care if you fuck him, just don't talk, don't do it around me or whatever, something like that.
Right. Like, don't bring him to the game.
Yeah. Don't make me look like a fool, essentially. So he's like, I don't give a shit what you do, but don't make me look stupid or whatever. But he used the N-word in there, so he got fucking wiped off the face of the planet. But But he was fucking some Instagram whore too. Like, it's the same thing. She was just out there for the bag.
Please have somebody have a tape of Daniel Snyder saying the N-word.
I mean, if it hasn't come out in those emails, what? All those emails about Daniel Snyder, and all we hear about is John Gruden? What's going on?
That's
there?
crazy to me.
Yeah, like and John Gruden is going. I side with you, John Gruden. He is going to find those other emails. He's going to make sure they are released.
Yeah, because that was, listen, regardless of how you feel about what John Gruden said or did, the investigation was about the Washington football team.
Yes.
And there are tens of thousands of more emails, and only the ones that made John Gruden look bad got leaked. And they're saying that they don't know who leaked them or how, and that the rest of them are privileged information.
And can I put on my Sam Tripoli tinfoil hat for a moment? I feel like there is so much wide sweeping scandal in these emails, and it affects and poisons so many integral parts of the NFL that they go, we need to throw someone to the wolves here. And that's why the John Gruden stuff got leaked, so that people are placated at the story. They go, oh, this is the monster that we can slay. And the rest, they can kind of go, all right, you got your, let them feast on him.
But to who? It was the NFL doing the investigation. They could have covered it all up.
That's what I'm saying, though. But they needed something. They couldn't just do this investigation and go, we got nothing, you know? So they go, how can we sever something here? Give the mob something to feast on. Because his wasn't connected to anybody other than it was like he was just sending these things. You know what I'm saying?
How do we go? We're investigating the Washington football team. We read all their emails. And the person we're going to throw to the wolves is a coach that has nothing to do with us.
That's it. And nobody cared. That's the thing. Everyone jumped on it like animals, and they got him. They got their wish. He's got fired and everything like that. And now no one's going like, what else do those emails say?
Except John Gruden. He's gonna get that shit.
I hope he does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, I've had this argument with a person on Twitter. No, it was a fun argument. It was a debate about guaranteed. I said, coaches get guaranteed money. There's no, if you fire a coach and he's got a 5-year contract, you pay out that contract. There's no no cause. But this one was considered cause for firing, so they settled with him. So he's suing about that. In addition, the cause was these emails. So now he's like, where are the rest of these emails? So he's going to get double paid. He's going to get some action.
Oh, well, yeah, he's probably going to take the money before he exposes the shield, you know?
I don't know. I hope maybe he gets it reinstated in some way down the road. Like, it's like, you let me get another coaching job and I don't fucking blow up your spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all to protect the shield, like you said. That's the thing.
Imagine getting fired from your current job for an email you sent at your old job.
Right? Yeah.
That's
because he was at ESPN. He wasn't even coaching yet.
Yeah.
Not only that, imagine getting fired from your job like Urban Meyer, where you're only a few weeks in, you're basically, he got the job and was fired months later, but he on a 5-year deal. You're still getting $150 million.
Yeah.
Just for being shitty at your job and getting fired pretty immediately.
He was bad.
He was so bad, and we documented all of it on this show as we went along. Let's do one more little story. I thought this would be fun because we talked about Mitch McDowell being naked during a police chase. There was another naked police chase. This is what I'm saying. I feel like if you're a police officer out there, please write in.
NFL player?
No, this is just a random naked police chase. And again, if you're a police officer out there, write into the show, joshpottershow@gmail.com. Please to be letting me know, how often do you deal with a naked person? I'd love to hear from a cop themselves. A man caused 2 wrong-way crashes on Cedar Rapids Highway on Thursday morning, then stripped naked and tried to run from the scene before being taken into custody. See, this was a strategy, being naked during this point. He got naked so that he could be more elusive, running from the cops.
So he took his clothes off while he was driving?
No, he after the accident, he stripped naked and then ran from the scene on foot. I feel like that's a good thing because now you can't get your shit stuck on fence. You can't get it stuck on a tree. You know, like if a cop tries to grab you, they're grabbing its skin. You know what I mean? They're going to be very careful about where they're grabbing.
No, that's pretty dubious logic there.
You know what I'm saying? It's quicker to get away naked than it is with clothes.
Yeah, but what about shit scraping you and scratching you and you stepping on stuff?
Well, these are hazards that you take into consideration and you go, this is the cross I bear.
And the last thing you want is your dick getting cut on something.
Oh, yes. I've heard of many a story of getting your dick on a fence caught, your scrotum. Oh, my God. That shit hanging down. You got to be careful. And that's the risk you take, though, in order to hopefully evade the cops. KWWL reports that the man was driving on the wrong way on I-380 when he caused 2 crashes, including one that overturned a semi. That's wild.
Whoa.
Overturning a semi is like Matrix movie shit. Like, that's one of those things that's like a tornado. I want to see it happen, but I don't want anyone to get hurt. You know what I mean?
Did they catch him?
Well, it says here, after the second crash, the man reportedly stripped naked and ran from police across the highway. He was then taken into custody after a quick pursuit and then taken to the hospital for evaluation. The man's name has not been released. That's the other thing about getting naked when you run away. They don't take you to jail. You get to go to the hospital first because they got to see if you're...
if you're crazy or if you're okay.
That's the advantage, again, too, is like all you got to do is get naked and you're not going right away to jail. You're going to get a little bit of a hospital visit.
Yeah. You're going to wake up handcuffed.
And then you're going to make me wait another 4 hours in the fucking ER because you have to go in and the cops brought in a psycho who's naked.
Well, let's be honest. Being at the hospital fucking sucks.
Dude, I just was, and it was the worst experience. It traumatized me to the point where I feel like a bitch, but also like it took a couple of days to get over that.
Yeah, it's the last time I've had to go and like stay at the hospital, especially when the doctors are like, because I had a surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be in and out. But then when I woke up, the doctor was like, well, this reading came back weird. So like, I'm going to keep you for a couple of days for observation. I'm like, what does that mean? And I wake up like, and I'm still in a bed. And the dude in the room with me is like dying.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I just need to, can I just get up and go get some fresh air? And they're like, no.
That's fucked.
Yeah. And it was this one of those things.
Did you have tubes in you? Because I hate that shit too. I had all the tubes.
At this point, there were not tubes in me, but I wasn't allowed to leave the room.
That's fucked up.
What
would they do if you just got up and left though?
Well, the dude that said no to me didn't say that he would stop me, but he did. You know what I mean? He didn't say it directly.
But what's stopping you entail? The security?
He's just like, I can't let you leave.
That's wild.
I think they're orderlies. They're there for that.
Huh. That's fucked up. I almost got admitted it, so I'm like, I was having panic about that. Like, I didn't want to be stuck in the fucking, Tower 2 and I'm on, floor 13 for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just so funny how there was that. It was like, either you're going to be stuck here for 2 days or we're going to do this shit. And then you just like, they let me just walk home, Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Like, I just walked out of there with fucking bandages all over my body. Like, I had like a fucking thing on my neck and I'm just like, I looked like a guy at a bus stop that you don't want to talk to, But it was, dude, I never felt like I was more insignificant than when I went there to the ER and just like walked up. And like, I'm not saying I'm like rich or anything like that, but like, it's like I can afford this. Like, I can pay for that. It's expensive, I know, but like I'm in a place in my life where I can pay for this. It doesn't matter to the ER. You are in the collective unwashed. There could be a hobo that gets dropped off and he's got like, he's coughing up a storm, so they bring him right in. You know what I mean? He's puking or something, they bring him right in, or he's having like a manic episode, they bring him right in.
You at the emergency room?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, so it's triage.
Yep. So it's just like people, like, and then, you're sitting there. I had my thing on my neck. This thing was getting progressively more painful, but it wasn't, and I understand the whole deal. Like, I'm not sitting here bitching about it, but it's like, I'm sitting there watching, an ambulance pull up. I'm like, great, another fucking guy got shot, so I'm fucked now for however long, closing up another bed. Every time an ambulance pulled up, I'm like, oh God, what is this now? Can't you stop shooting people for 5 minutes so I can get a fucking doctor to look at me over here? But yeah, worst experience of my life, Brian Simpson. But I'm glad it's over, and I'm so glad you joined me for the podcast. I poached you after you did your honeydew episode. I'm so happy that you stuck around, and I love your Netflix special. It's so funny. Go watch it on Netflix if you haven't already. It's part of the stand-ups. Yes, indeed, and a great class you were in that with. Tell everyone where you're going to be again down the road.
I'm going to be at the Ontario Improv in Madison, Wisconsin. I forget the name of the place.
Milwaukee Improv? Oh, no, Madison. Comedy on State.
Yeah, Comedy on State in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm going to be at the Philly Punchline in April. Yeah, just go to my BS Comedian on my socials or BrianSimpsonComedy.com and see the rest of my tour dates. And I'll be at the Netflix Festival as well. So.
Go see the man live. It is a treat, my friends. I'm going to be live this week, Sunday night during the AFC Championship game. Yes, I'm sacrificing that for you, my little roaches. Come to West Nyack, Levity Live on January 30th. On the 2nd of February, I'll be at the Pittsburgh Improv. On the 3rd of February, I will be at the Raleigh Improv. So pleased to be buying all those tickets up on my Instagram at Josh_Potter, at J_Potter on Twitter. And do not forget, the Patreon is live. We've got the description. In the description of this episode is the link. Go click it, get subscribed. You get a whole nother podcast. You're going to get Roach transmissions where it's me just popping on randomly and frequently. So get subscribed to the Patreon. And by the way, keep emailing all your songs, your remixes, and your wonderful Roach reporting, all your articles to joshpottershow@gmail.com. That's joshpottershow@gmail.com. Other than that, thank you so much for joining once again. Please to be subscribing if you haven't already. Like, rate, review, all that shit. And we will see you next Tuesday here in the Roach Motel on the Josh Potter Show.